My parents secretly planned a family trip without my kids, so I gave them a luxury New Year shock. At dinner, my cousin said, "Can't wait for the New Year's trip." My parents froze. They planned a family vacation without my kids. I said nothing. Instead, I took my family to Dubai and posted the fireworks. My father's rage call the next morning exposed their lie to everyone. Hey, Reddit. My parents always played favorites, so I stopped begging to be included. I booked an epic New Year trip with my kids and moved on. But they weren't done stirring up drama. Before we get to that, let me start from the beginning. Sunday dinner at my parents' place. Normal, boring even. Rachel had made her famous apple pie. Dylan was showing Grandpa some Lego thing he'd built. Harper was helping Grandma set the table like she always does. Just another regular family gathering, you know. Then Cousin Leo walked in carrying a stack of identical navy blue duffel bags with embroidered snowflakes on them, and everything went sideways. "Hey, got the trip bags?" Leo announced, dropping them on the kitchen counter. Big grin on his face, custom embroidered and everything. "Aspen, here we come." I was refilling my coffee when he said it. It didn't really register at first. Rachel's hands stopped mid-reach for a serving spoon. Leo started pulling bags out, reading names off the tags. "Let's see, Dad, Mom, Garrett, Brooke, Austin, Paige." He flipped through the remaining tags, checking each one, then looked up, genuinely confused. "Wait, where are Nolan's family bags?" The kitchen went quiet. Mom's face went pale. Dad suddenly found his phone very interesting. "What Aspen trip?" I asked, keeping my voice level. Leo's face shifted from confusion to dawning horror. The New Year trip to the ski chalet, I thought," he trailed off. He finally read the room. Mom tried to salvage it. "Nolan, honey, we were going to tell you." "Tell me what?" I set my coffee down. "That you're taking a family trip and didn't invite us." "It's not like that," Dad said. He wouldn't even look at me. "The chalet package has a strict 8-person maximum. We couldn't." "8-person maximum?" I interrupted. "You, Mom, Garrett, Brooke, Austin, and Paige. That's 6 people, plus us makes 10 total." I pulled out my phone, Googled the resort right there, and pulled up their booking page. "They have 8-person and 10-person packages. You chose 8. Harper walked into the kitchen right then, saw the pile of bags. "Are those for a trip?" Mom knelt down fast. "Oh, sweetie, those are for a work thing." I watched my mother lie directly to my 7-year-old daughter's face. "Just to be clear," I said, and my voice was calm enough that Rachel glanced at me sharply. "Are my kids invited to this Aspen trip, yes or no?" Dad finally met my eyes. "Nolan, the package is expensive and restrictive. We had to make difficult choices. Yes or no?" "No," Garrett said flatly. He walked into the kitchen like he owned the place. "No, your kids aren't invited there. Happy now?" Dylan had walked in behind Harper. He was 10, old enough to do math, old enough to understand what he was hearing. "Why not?" Dylan asked quietly. No one answered him. "The package maxes at 8, Dad tried again. "We couldn't." "You're lying," Dylan said. I'd never heard that tone from him before. Flat, factual. "There are 6 of you going. 6 plus us makes 10. The website shows 10-person packages. You didn't budget space, you budgeted us out." The words hit like a brick. My 10-year-old son had just summarized the entire situation in 2 sentences. Rachel's hand found mine under the table. "Dylan, it's complicated," Mom started. "No, it's not," he said. "You picked them over us." Harper started crying, not loud, just quiet tears running down her face. She didn't even understand fully what was happening, just that something was wrong. I stood up. "Rachel, get the kids. We're leaving." "Nolan, don't be dramatic," Dad said. "I'm not being dramatic. I'm removing my children from a situation where they just learned their grandparents ranked them second." "That's not fair," Garrett said. I turned to look at him, really look at him. "You're right, it's not fair to them." Rachel was already gathering Harper and Dylan, grabbing their coats. "If you walk out that door, Nolan," Dad started, "you'll what, not invite us to the next trip either?" I picked up Rachel's pie from the counter. "We'll keep this. You enjoy your 8-person exclusive experience." Leo, still standing there, looking horrified, said weakly, "I'm so sorry, man, I thought you knew." "Not your fault, Leo. You thought I knew because you assumed my parents would include their own grandchildren in a family trip. That's called normal human decency." We left. In the car, Harper cried in the back seat while Dylan stared out the window, silent. Rachel drove. I sat in the passenger seat, utterly calm, watching the city lights blur past. My phone started buzzing before we were even out of the driveway. I turned it off completely. Rachel glanced at me. "You okay?" "Yeah." "Really? They didn't forget us, Ra. They planned around us, and I'm not going to beg to be included in my own family." She reached over, squeezed my hand. From the back seat, Dylan's voice came quiet. "Dad." "Yeah, bud. I don't want to go to Sunday dinners anymore." I looked at Rachel. She nodded once. "Okay," I told him. "We don't have to." Harper sniffled. "Ever?" Not unless they understand what they did wrong. The rest of the drive was silent, but it wasn't the bad kind. It was the kind of silence where everyone in the car understood we just crossed a line we couldn't uncross. And I was completely fine with that. Monday morning at work, I couldn't focus. I'm a civil engineer. I spend my days inspecting bridges and writing structural reports. Usually I can lose myself in stress calculations and safety margins. Not today. I kept seeing Harper's face when she realized she wasn't invited. I kept hearing Dylan's voice, "You budgeted us out." Around 10 o'clock in the morning, I opened a new Excel spreadsheet and started typing dates and incidents. I'd been screenshotting these moments for months, storing them in my phone whenever something felt off. Now I was finally organizing them. By lunch, I had the pattern clear. Dylan's 10th birthday party, June 15th. Dad said he had a critical work meeting. I found out later he drove 3 hours to Austin's travel baseball tournament instead. Harper's dance recital, March 2024. Both grandparents were out of town. I found photos of them at Austin's science fair the same day. Christmas gifts, 2023. Austin and Paige got personalized gaming laptops, $800 each. Dylan and Harper got $30 Amazon gift cards with a generic from Grandma and Grandpa note. The pattern wasn't subtle. I pulled up Garrett's Instagram, scrolled back through the last 6 months. October 22nd, a photo of him at a high-end steakhouse, celebrating new opportunities. November 3rd, his Mercedes in front of a country club, Sunday golf therapy. November 19th, premium seats at a basketball game, living the dream. December 4th, a weekend at a luxury spa resort, decompressing from the grind. Meanwhile, the family narrative was that Garrett was struggling financially after his career transition from pharmaceutical sales, that he needed help, that this Aspen trip was Dad's way of supporting him through a tough time. But the Instagram receipts told a different story. I screenshot everything, saved it to a folder titled Family Dynamics 2023 to 2024. My phone had been off since Sunday night. I turned it back on during my lunch break. 17 missed calls, 29 text messages. I scrolled through them. "Nolan, please call me. We can explain. The kids don't understand. You're making this harder than it needs to be. We need to talk about your behavior yesterday." Nothing about their behavior. Nothing acknowledging what Dylan said. Nothing about Harper crying. I replied to exactly one message. "Mom, the kids understand perfectly. That's the problem." Then I opened a new text thread and added Rachel. "We need to talk about New Year plans. What if we did something just us, big, memorable, something that shows Dylan and Harper they're worth it?" Rachel responded in under a minute. "I'm listening." That night, after the kids went to bed, Rachel and I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop open. "Walk me through this," she said. "Dad's spending $12,000 on Garrett's family for Aspen. Luxury ski chalet, 5 days all-inclusive. He positioned it as helping Garrett through tough times. But Garrett's not struggling, not even close." I pulled up the Instagram screenshots, country club memberships, premium sports tickets, spa weekends, high-end dinners. Rachel studied the photos. "So where's the money coming from?" I opened my banking app, showed her my transaction history. Then I pulled up something else, a text thread with Leo from 6 months ago. Leo had mentioned casually that Dad had co-signed on Garrett's Mercedes lease, and that Mom was covering Brooke's gym membership because Brooke needed self-care support. "They're funding his entire lifestyle," Rachel said slowly, "while telling us he's struggling and needs the trip as support, and your kids got excluded because Garrett's kids are the priority, always have been." Rachel closed the laptop, looked at me directly. "What do you want to do?" "I want to show Dylan and Harper they matter. I want them to have an experience so incredible they never question their worth again. And I want to do it without asking permission or waiting for an invitation." Dubai. I'd been researching since lunchtime. I had 3 browser tabs open on my phone with packages, pricing, and reviews. Burj Al Arab, 5 nights. I booked the suite starting the night of December 30th so we could check in immediately when we landed. December 30th through January 4th, 2-bedroom suite, butler service, desert safari, ski Dubai, New Year's Eve at Burj Khalifa. Cost $14,500 for the hotel package. Flights are separate, but I'm using points for those. Rachel absorbed that. More than Aspen? Exactly the point. Your parents are going to lose their minds. They're already calling my behavior ridiculous, might as well earn it. She smiled, actually smiled. Our savings can handle it. We have $68,000 saved. We make $185,000 combined annually. We're stable. We've been responsible for years and we weren't invited. Rachel pulled the laptop back, started reading through the Dubai package details. Harper would lose her mind over Ski Dubai, she said. Indoor skiing with penguins. Dylan would love Burj Khalifa observation deck. We looked at each other. Book it, Rachel said. I moved the cursor to reserve now. I hovered there for 1 second. My phone buzzed. Text from Dad. Nolan, we're finalizing Aspen details this week. We'd appreciate it if you didn't make this difficult by holding a grudge. The kids will get over it. I read it out loud to Rachel. She leaned over and clicked the button herself. Confirmation received. Your extraordinary Dubai experience awaits. I screenshot it, saved it to the evidence folder. The next 2 weeks were the quietest I'd ever experienced with my parents. I didn't call them, didn't answer their calls, didn't engage with the family group chat that kept lighting up with Aspen planning messages. Nobody even thought to remove me from it. Garrett wrote, found the perfect ski instructor for the kids. Can't wait. Mom wrote, booked dinner reservations at that mountaintop restaurant. All confirmed. Brooke wrote, Austin is watching ski videos nonstop. This is going to be magical. Dad wrote, T-16 days, family trip of a lifetime. I read every single one. I didn't respond to any of them. Rachel kept asking if I was okay. I kept saying yes, and I genuinely was, because while they were planning their 8-person exclusive experience, I was planning something better. I'd confirmed Burj Al Arab reservation, booked Emirates business class flights, arranged the desert safari and ski Dubai tickets, and reserved the New Year's Eve gala. This was about 2 things, showing my kids they were worth the effort, and making sure my parents saw exactly what they'd walked away from. On December 16th, Leo called me. Dude, your parents are freaking out. Not my problem. They think you're planning something. Correct. Are you going to tell me what? Nope. Leo laughed. Fair enough. For what it's worth, I still feel terrible about the bag thing. Still not your fault, Leo. You thought I knew because you assumed my parents would include their own grandchildren in a family trip. That's called normal human decency. Your dad's saying you're being unreasonable. He's right. I'm being completely unreasonable by not begging to be included. December 18th. Mom sent me a private text. Nolan, honey, could you check on our house while we're gone? We leave the 28th. Hide the key under the flower pot. Would really appreciate it. I stared at that message for a full minute. She assumed I'd be home. She assumed I had no plans. She assumed I'd be available to house sit while they vacation with Garrett's family. I typed back one word, noted, nothing else. I opened a new text to our neighbor Karen. Can you check on my parents' house twice while they're gone? December 20 to 8th to January 2nd. I'll pay you. She responded in 30 seconds. Of course, no charge. Happy to help. Rachel saw me do it. That's ice cold. That's appropriate. On December 22nd, we told the kids. Dylan and Harper were in the living room when Rachel and I sat down with them. We have news, I said. A surprise for New Year. Harper's eyes lit up immediately. Are we going somewhere? Yes, somewhere incredible. Where? Dylan asked, more cautious. Dubai. Blank stares. Rachel pulled up photos. Burj Khalifa appeared first, this impossible tower of glass rising into the sky. Dylan's eyes went huge. That's the tallest building in the world. We're going there, I said. To the top. Harper grabbed the phone, swiping to the next photo. Ski Dubai, indoor skiing and penguin. Penguins? Harper shrieked. Can we go see them? That's literally on the schedule. Dylan's face shifted, something between disbelief and hope. When do we leave? December 30th, 5 days, just us 4. Can we tell Grandma and Grandpa? Harper asked automatically. The question hung in the air. Rachel handled it. Not yet, sweetie. This is our family's adventure, just ours. Dylan got it immediately. I saw it in his eyes. So we don't wait for them anymore? No, bud, we don't. Over the next week, we shopped. Usually, we were budget conscious. Not this time. When Harper wanted a specific sundress, Rachel told her to pick 2 colors. When Dylan asked about a camera to document the trip, I found a refurbished GoPro on sale and bought it. At checkout, the total came to $340. I didn't even blink. The sales clerk asked where we were headed. Dubai, Dylan announced. Burj Al Arab. Yeah, that's incredible. You're going to love it. Christmas Day arrived. Usually we'd spend it at my parents' house. This year we stayed home. Rachel made pancakes. Dylan and Harper opened gifts. My phone stayed face down on the counter. Around 11 o'clock in the morning it started buzzing. I ignored it. That evening I finally checked. 23 missed calls. 41 text messages. Mom wrote, Merry Christmas, when are you coming over? Dad wrote, this is childish, your mother is upset. Mom wrote, I don't understand what we did wrong. The family group chat had photos of Austin and Paige opening presents. Dad in his Santa hat. Mom with matching Aspen Trip sweatshirts for everyone. 6 sweatshirts laid out on the table, 1 for each person going. I screenshot the photo. December 27th. Mom tried calling Rachel directly. Rachel answered on speaker. Rachel, honey, is Nolan okay? He's fine. Can you talk to him, help him understand we didn't mean to hurt anyone? Rachel's voice stayed perfectly even. I'm not going to mediate this. You excluded our children from a family trip. Nolan's responding accordingly. That's between you and him. But the kids don't understand. Our kids understand perfectly, that's actually the problem. She hung up. Mom called back immediately. Rachel declined it. Brutal, I said. Necessary, Rachel corrected. December 28th, my parents left for Aspen. The family group chat exploded with departure photos. The caption, "Family adventure begins." I read it, felt nothing. I turned my phone to airplane mode, 4:30 in the morning. December 30th. The alarm went off. Logan International at 5:45 in the morning. It had that strange, quiet energy of people going places. The Emirates check-in counter processed our passports smoothly. Dubai for New Year, beautiful choice, business class confirmed. The boarding passes had gold Emirates logos. Harper got an amenity kit with a stuffed camel. She named him Sandy. By 6:30 in the morning, we were in the Emirates lounge. Dylan and Harper were at the kids' play area. I stood by the windows watching the A380 being prepped. I pulled out my phone, took a photo of Dylan and Harper silhouetted against the window, the massive plane behind them, sunrise painting the sky, caption, "New adventures teaching the kids that family means choosing each other first." I set privacy to public, hit post, then immediately airplane mode. Rachel walked up. No looking at reactions, not until we land. The flight was everything promised. Business class pods that converted to beds. Flight attendants who gave the kids pajamas and slippers. Dylan discovered his seat had a 24-inch entertainment screen and declared it the best plane ever. Around hour 8, I turned off airplane mode and connected to Wi-Fi. The notifications flooded in, 74 text messages, 38 missed calls. Mom wrote, "Nolan, where are you going?" Dad wrote, "Call me immediately. We need to talk right now." But there were also other messages. Leo wrote, "Dude, Dubai, your parents are freaking out, but honestly, good for you." Aunt Carol wrote, "Saw your post, that hotel looks amazing, don't let them guilt you." I showed Rachel, she shook her head. "They really thought you'd just stay home, they assumed." I let them keep assuming. After 14 hours, the plane descended through darkness toward Dubai. We landed early morning, December 31st, local time. The city appeared below us like a circuit board come to life. Burj Khalifa was visible even from the air, this impossible needle of light. Harper pressed against her window as we descended. "It looks like a spaceship city." A driver in a white shirt held a sign with our name and Burj Al Arab logo. The drive took 35 minutes along Sheikh Zayed Road, 8 lanes of highway lined with towers wrapped in lights and LED screens. Then we turned onto a causeway extending into the Persian Gulf, and there it was, Burj Al Arab, that distinctive sail shape rising from an artificial island, gold and purple lights against the night sky. Harper pressed her face against the window. "Is that really our hotel?" "The most luxurious hotel in the world, sir," the driver said with an Indian accent. Dylan was filming everything. "This is insane." A man in traditional white kandura greeted us with a bow, introduced himself as Khalid, our personal butler. Dylan's face lit up. "We get a butler?" "Of course, sir," Khalid said, treating my 10-year-old like royalty. The lobby was gold leaf and marble, a fountain reaching up 3 stories. The elevator opened directly into our suite, no hallway, just ours. 2,100 square feet, floor-to-ceiling windows showing the Gulf stretching to the horizon. The kids' room had custom bunk beds and a PlayStation 5. The master bedroom had a balcony. The bathroom was larger than most hotel rooms. Harper stopped spinning. "This is ours." "This is your suite," Khalid corrected gently. Dylan ran to the windows. "I can see Burj Khalifa from here, worth every dollar." The next morning, breakfast at Al Mahaha, 200 meters above sea level. When the elevator doors opened, the view hit us. Floor-to-ceiling windows on 3 sides showing the Palm JRA below, the coastline stretching north. Dylan stopped walking, just stared. The host led us to a window table, white linens, gold-rimmed plates, crystal glasses. Harper climbed into her chair and pressed her face against the window. "We're so high up." The server brought menus. Rachel ordered shakshuka. I got the traditional Arabic breakfast. Dylan wanted pancakes. Harper asked if they had French toast. "Of course," the server said, "with our signature gold dusting." Harper's eyes went wide. Gold, 24-karat gold flakes, edible. When it arrived, Harper just stared at her plate, the French toast dusted with flakes that caught the light like glitter. Dylan poked his pancakes. "Is this actually real, 24-karat?" The server confirmed. Harper giggled. "I'm eating gold." I took a photo, Dylan and Harper with their golden breakfast, the city sprawling below. I posted it, "Breakfast in the clouds." Dylan took a bite, grinned. "Okay, gold makes everything taste better." Rachel was watching our kids. They'll remember this forever. Not just the gold, but the feeling of being chosen. She was right. That afternoon, ski Dubai. The transition was surreal. We walked from warm desert air into climate-controlled Arctic conditions through a series of airlocks. Then the doors opened and we were standing in winter. A real ski slope, 5 runs, real snow falling from the ceiling. Our breath misted in the cold air. Harper stood there in her borrowed winter coat watching snow drift down. It's snowing inside, in the desert. Dylan was already filming. This defies like 3 laws of physics. But the real magic was the penguin enclosure, a specially designed habitat kept at perfect Antarctic temperature. We stood at the viewing glass. Within seconds, a king penguin waddled up to investigate. It tilted its head, studying Harper through the glass. Harper knelt down slowly, putting her hand against the barrier. The penguin waddled closer, tilting its head the other way. "Hi," Harper whispered. "I'm Harper." The penguin made a sound somewhere between a honk and a chirp. "I think he likes you," Rachel said. "She," one of the handlers corrected. "That's Isla. She's curious about new visitors." Harper pressed her face closer to the glass. Isla pressed her beak against it from the other side. "Can I meet them properly?" Harper asked. 10 minutes later, Harper was inside the enclosure in a specialized cold weather suit, kneeling in real snow while Isla and 2 other penguins investigated her. Her face was pure wonder. She kept looking at me through the glass like she couldn't believe this was real. Dylan did the skiing, strapped on skis for the first time. The instructor praised his natural balance. He made it down the bunny slope without falling, arms raised in victory at the bottom. I got photos of both moments, Harper with her penguins, Dylan with his arms up, simple posts. Meeting new friends and first time on skis, nailed it. New Year's Eve arrived. By 6 o'clock in the evening, we were dressed up, Harper in a gold dress, Dylan in a suit, Rachel in an evening gown, me in a tuxedo. Family photo in the suite, Burj Khalifa visible through the window behind us. I spent 10 minutes on this caption. This was the one that mattered. What this year taught me, family isn't blood. It's who shows up, who makes you a priority, not an afterthought. To Dylan and Harper, you are valued, you are loved, you are enough. I hit post. 2 hours later, at a high lounge with panoramic views, Burj Khalifa lit up across the water, dominating the skyline. Countdown clocks mounted on every wall. Harper had sparkling cider and a champagne flute, holding it like treasure. Dylan kept checking his watch, doing math about time zones. Rachel and I had actual champagne. "They're going to remember this forever," she said quietly. "That's the point." Rachel asked if I was going to check my phone tomorrow. The countdown started. 10. Dylan grabbed Harper's hand. 9. The room getting louder. 8. 7. 6. Harper's voice rising above the crowd. Pure excitement. 5, 4, 3. Rachel squeezed my hand. All of them smiling, happy, chosen first. 1. Happy New Year. The words burst from hundreds of throats. Burj Khalifa erupted in light. Fireworks cascaded down its sides in choreographed patterns, gold and silver explosions painting the sky. Harper jumped up and down, pointing. "Look at the colors!" Dylan had his GoPro out, filming everything. Rachel kissed me. "Best decision we ever made." "Second best," I said. "First was choosing us." The fireworks continued for 20 minutes, and through it all, I didn't check my phone once. The next morning in Dubai, around 9 o'clock local time, my phone rang, Dad's number. I'd been expecting this. I let it ring twice before answering. I put it on speaker so Rachel could hear. "Hello, Nolan." Dad's voice was tight, controlled fury. "What the hell are you doing in Dubai?" "Vacation. You were supposed to be watching our house. I arranged for our neighbor to handle it." Silence on the other end. "Then you deliberately went on vacation while we were trying to have a family trip." "You went on a family trip, I went on a different family trip." "That's not what I—" He stopped, started again. "How could you do this? How could you exclude us like this?" There it was, the line I'd been waiting for. I let the silence stretch for 3 full seconds. "I didn't exclude you, Dad. I just didn't include you. There's a difference." "That's the same thing." "Is it? Because that's the exact logic you used for Aspen. You're taking 6 people on a trip when we're a family of 10. You didn't exclude us, right? You just didn't include us. That was different. How?" "The package had limitations. The resort offers 8 and 10-person packages. You chose 8. That wasn't a limitation. That was a choice." I heard him breathing on the other end, trying to find an angle. "Your mother is devastated," he tried. "She's been crying since Sunday dinner, since you walked out. Harper cried when she found out she wasn't invited. Did that devastate you?" "That's not fair." "You're right, it's not fair to her." "Where are you staying?" he asked finally. "Burj Al Arab." I heard him actually choke. That's the most expensive hotel in the world. We're teaching the kids they're worth it." "This is insane. You're spending a fortune to prove a point." "To prove my kids matter, different thing." "Nolan, we need to talk about this when you get back. We can talk when you're ready to acknowledge what you did. Until then, we're good." I hung up. Rachel stared at me. "You just hung up on your father." "Yeah, that was the coldest thing I've ever heard you say." "Good." My phone immediately started ringing again. I declined the call, turned on Do Not Disturb. He's going to lose his mind, Rachel said. Already has. Not my problem. We spent the rest of the day at the beach, Dylan building sandcastles, Harper collecting shells, Rachel reading, me watching my kids be happy. My phone stayed silent. We landed back in Boston on January 4th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon local time. By 4:30 in the afternoon we were home. Our neighbor Karen had left a note saying she'd watered the plants. My phone showed 89 new text messages and 62 missed calls. The messages from my parents had evolved from angry to desperate to furious again. Mom wrote, January 1st, how could you do this to us? Dad wrote, January 2nd, you've embarrassed this family. Garrett wrote, January 2nd, thanks for ruining our trip. Mom wrote, January 3rd, everyone is asking questions. Do you have any idea what you've done? But there were also other messages. Aunt Carol wrote, your photos are amazing, the kids look so happy. Uncle Rob wrote, that hotel is on my bucket list, well done, man. Cousin Jennifer wrote, about time someone called them out on the favoritism. Even Leo had sent updates. Your parents are melting down, but also half the extended family is on your side now. January 5th, 9 o'clock in the morning. My parents showed up unannounced. We dropped Dylan and Harper at Rachel's mom's house an hour earlier. We knew this was coming. I opened the door before they could knock. Mom's eyes were red. Dad's face was stone. Can we come in? I stepped aside. We sat in the living room. Them on the couch, Rachel and me in chairs facing them. Dubai souvenirs visible on the side table. Dad spoke first. I think you owe us an explanation. You think I owe you an explanation? You took your family to Dubai while we were trying to have a nice trip with your other grandchildren. I finished. The ones you actually invited. Mom's voice cracked. Nolan, it wasn't like that. What was it like? You booked an 8-person chalet for a 10-person family and chose which 4 people to exclude. The package had restrictions. Dad said that same shit again. Rachel pulled out a thin folder, just 3 pages, the strongest receipts. She slid it across the coffee table. What's this? Mom asked. Dylan's birthday, you were at Austin's tournament. Harper's recital, you were at Austin's science fair. Christmas gifts, $800 for Austin and Paige, $30 for Dylan and Harper. Dad didn't touch the folder. This is ridiculous. Harper asked me why Grandma doesn't love her like you love Paige. She's 7. What do I tell her? The silence was crushing. We didn't mean, Mom started. You meant every bit of it. You chose. The Aspen trip was just the first time you made that choice visible to my kids. The front door opened then. Garrett and Brooke walked in. Rachel stood immediately. Who gave you a key to our house? We're family, Garrett said. Get out, Rachel said, her voice like ice. Rachel, Mom started. No, you don't get to show up unannounced, and you definitely don't get to bring him. Dad tried to take control. Nolan, delete those Instagram posts, apologize to your mother, and we can move past this. Rachel stood before I could respond, her voice cut like ice. You don't get to police his response when you won't own your actions. Dad turned to her. Rachel, no. You excluded our children. You lied about why. You made Dylan and Harper feel worthless, and now you want Nolan to apologize for documenting what you did? I'm not deleting anything, I said. I'm not apologizing, and we're not moving past this until you acknowledge what you did. We didn't do anything, Garrett said. Dylan's voice came from behind us. I understand you didn't want us there. That's pretty clear. We all turned. Dylan and Harper were standing in the doorway. Rachel's mom must have brought them back early. Dylan, sweetie, you don't understand. Mom knelt down. I understand you didn't want us there, Dylan said quietly. That's pretty clear. So Dad took us to Dubai, Dylan continued, and we went skiing with penguins and we saw the tallest building and it was the best trip ever. He held up his photo album. Want to see? Brooke spoke up. This is exactly the problem. You're teaching them to be entitled. Get the fuck out of my house right now. If we leave, we're not coming back, Dad said. You'll need to apologize first. I walked to the door, opened it. I'm not asking you to come back. I'm asking you to leave. Mom was sobbing. You can't mean this. I mean every word. You excluded my children. You lied about it. And now you're demanding I apologize for responding to your choices with choices of my own. This is insane, Garrett said. This is boundaries, Rachel corrected. They left slowly, Mom crying, Dad silent, Garrett and Brooke muttering. When the door closed, Dylan asked quietly, Are we in trouble? I knelt down, pulled them both into a hug. No, you're not in trouble for speaking the truth. Are we going to see them again? Maybe. If they understand what they did, if they're willing to treat you the same as Austin and Paige. What if they don't? Then we keep building our own traditions, just us 4. Harper sniffled. I liked our traditions better anyway. Rachel looked at me. Change the locks today. I nodded, already planning on it. 3 months of silence followed. No calls, no texts, no Sunday dinners, just peace. Dylan and Harper adjusted fast. Harper stopped asking about Grandma. Dylan started planning our next trip mid-March. Leo called me. Heads up, your parents are planning something. What kind of something? Family intervention. They've been calling relatives, building a case, saying you're being unreasonable, that you've turned the kids against them. Have they acknowledged excluding us yet? Nope. Then whatever they're planning, I don't care. It's next Sunday, your parents' house. They're calling it family reconciliation. I wasn't invited. You're the guest of honor, surprise. Sunday arrived. We left Dylan and Harper with Rachel's mom. Rachel and I drove to my parents' house, arriving exactly on time. The driveway was packed. Aunt Carol's car, Uncle Rob's truck, Cousin Jennifer's SU-5, Leo's motorcycle. Rachel looked at me. Ready? I was ready 3 months ago. We walked in. The living room was full, 15 people all watching us. Mom stood. Nolan, thank you for coming. I didn't know I had a choice. We're family. We need to work through this. I looked around the room. Who here knows what this actually is? Silence. December 6th, Sunday dinner. Leo accidentally reveals a family ski trip I'd never been told about. An 8-person Aspen chalet, $12,000, my family of 4 excluded. Aunt Carol frowned. Excluded? They told Nolan there wasn't room. Rachel said 8-person maximum, but there's only 6 of them going, plus Nolan's family makes 10 total. Correct. The resort offers 8 and 10-person packages. They chose 8. Uncle Rob looked at my dad. Is that true? Dad opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Leo spoke up then, uncomfortable. Yeah, I heard Aunt say something about how Nolan's kids are fine on their own, so they didn't need. He trailed off. Aunt Carol's hand went to her mouth. Murmurs around the room now. Aunt Carol's face shifted. I pulled out my phone, showed the room one screenshot, the Aspen group chat. Mom's message from November. So excited for our core family trip, just the essentials. Core family. I let that phrase hang in the air. Dylan and Harper weren't essential. That's what you decided. Rachel stood. Here are our terms. If you want access to our kids, you treat them exactly the same as Garrett's kids. Same gifts, same attendance, same priority. One-on-one time without Austin and Paige dominating. And if you can't do that, I continued, then we're done. No more dinners, no more holidays. We're done. Dad stood. You can't give us ultimatums. Watch me. You're tearing this family apart, Garrett said. I'm setting boundaries with people who've shown me my kids don't matter. Mom was sobbing. Aunt Carol had moved to comfort her, but she didn't argue with anything I'd said. Dad tried one more time. Nolan, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. You treat all 4 grandkids equally or you don't get access to mine. And if we refuse, then we go on living our lives. We build our own family traditions. We show our kids they don't need anyone's approval to feel valued. I walked to the door. Rachel followed. Think about it. You know how to reach me. We left. In the car, Rachel asked, how do you feel? Light. Really? Yeah, I just cut off the part dragging us down. Either they change or we move on. Either way, we're free. 2 weeks later, Mom called. Can we take Dylan and Harper to the zoo? Just them, just us one day. Why? Because you're right. We haven't been treating them the same and we want to start fixing that. One condition, before any zoo trip, you sit down with Dylan and Harper face to face. You tell them directly what you did wrong. No package excuses. No, we didn't mean to. You say, we hurt you, we chose wrong, we're sorry. Can you do that? Silence on the other end. Then, yes, we can do that. 3 days later, my parents came over. Dylan and Harper sat on the couch between Rachel and me while Mom and Dad sat across from them. I watched my mother look at my 7-year-old daughter and say the words, Harper, we hurt you. We made you feel like you weren't as important as your cousins. That was wrong. We're sorry. Dad looked at Dylan. We excluded you from a family trip. We made excuses instead of admitting we chose wrong. We're sorry. Dylan studied them both, then asked the question that mattered. Are you going to do it again? No, Mom said. We're going to do better. Harper asked quietly, promise? Promise, Dad said. The zoo trip happened the following Saturday, 4 hours just grandparents and grandkids. Dylan and Harper came home glowing. Grandma said I'm special, Harper told me. She said today was just about me. Small steps. Garrett never apologized. Dad cut his funding. Last I heard through Leo, he got a real job, entry-level $40,000 a year. I didn't gloat. April evening, sitting at my laptop with Dylan and Harper looking over my shoulder, planning our Tokyo trip for summer. Dylan asked, can we go back to Dubai next year? Absolutely. Can Grandma and Grandpa come? I paused. Maybe if they keep showing up for you, if they keep treating you the same as your cousins. What if they don't? Then we have an amazing trip without them. Harper nodded. I like our trips better. Anyway, I opened a new folder, started building the Tokyo itinerary, saved it next to the Dubai file. We were going back to Dubai next New Year. This time it was tradition. Stepping back from the personal emotions of the protagonist, this sequence of events leaves us with a profound look at the law of cause and effect. Every choice of endurance in the past comes with a heavy price in the future. What unfolded in this family was not simply about a vacation, a ski resort, or even a luxury trip across the world. It was the visible breaking point of a pattern that had quietly existed for years. Small choices, subtle preferences, and silent hierarchies that eventually became impossible to ignore. When favoritism hides behind polite smiles and convenient excuses, it slowly teaches children a painful lesson about their place in the family. In this case, one child's simple sentence revealed the truth adults had been trying to avoid. They had not run out of space. They had simply chosen who mattered more. Situations like this are more common than many families are willing to admit. Society often tells us that preserving family harmony should come above all else. We are taught to stay quiet, to forgive endlessly, to keep the peace even when something clearly feels unfair. But when harmony is built on silence rather than respect, it becomes a fragile illusion. Over time, the people asked to tolerate that imbalance carry the weight of it the most, especially children, who are far more perceptive than adults sometimes realize. When I look back at this story, what stands out is not the anger or the dramatic confrontation. It is the moment a parent quietly decided that protecting his children's dignity mattered more than maintaining a comfortable lie. Walking away from a family tradition, refusing to beg for inclusion, and building new memories instead. These were not acts of revenge or pride. They were acts of clarity. Sometimes the healthiest response to unfair treatment is not a louder argument, but a firm boundary. And that is where the deeper reflection begins for all of us. It is easy to label someone who sets boundaries as dramatic, ungrateful, or even selfish. Yet boundaries are not walls meant to destroy relationships. They are lines that show people where respect must begin. In many families, the first person to draw that line becomes the villain simply because they disrupt a pattern everyone else had grown comfortable with. I believe this story also reminds us of something important about children. They do not need perfect grandparents, perfect parents, or perfect holidays. What they need most is the quiet assurance that they are chosen, that they matter without needing to compete for love. Sometimes that assurance comes not from fixing the past, but from creating a new path forward. So here is the question that lingers after everything settles. If maintaining family peace required you to stay silent while your children were treated as less important than their cousins, would you keep the peace? Or would you risk tearing the family apart to protect your children's sense of worth?